Since their formation at the beginning of the decade, the Corrs, that's 3 sisters and 1 brother from Dundalk, have been forging their own unique sound, which marries Celtic influences with a modern pop sensibility. Within a year of its release, their debut album, Forgiven Not Forgotten, is approaching the 500,000 sales mark, and with singles like The Right Time and Runaway, it's onwards and upwards. So for Planet Rock Profiles tonight, we came to the Irish Music Industry Awards, the most prestigious of the year, called the Irmas, where the Corrs themselves deservedly picked up the accolade of Best New Band. Okay, let's first of all talk about the debut album. First of all, what's the reaction been like now abroad as opposed to here? Because I know it's sold phenomenally well in this part of the world.
Well, I mean, abroad in Australia, it's doing really, really well. We've only done 1 promo trip there, and it jumped. The sales jumped there. It's great. In Japan, we've just hit 50,000, which is really good. In America, I think we're what? I don't know.
We're chocolate.
We're chocolate. Okay, we've got chocolate.
Worldwide, we're approaching 500,000.
Approaching 500,000 at this
point. Worldwide.
Does this surprise you, or was this part of the... I mean, like, people say it's overnight success in some ways with the Corrs. Now, I know it's since at least 1990 you've been sort of seriously together, so that's not overnight success at all. But the way it's happened in some ways, it is a bit of an overnight success.
I think from the public's point of view, it would be an overnight success. But for our point of view, we've been slugging for, for, you know, six years writing and trying to get our sound together. So, yeah, from the public's point of view.
But a lot of it has happened in the last year. You know, between last year getting the record deal and between this year, it's been like a roller coaster for us. It's been non-stop, and we are constantly on the TV, so the public are obviously seeing us an awful lot more.
Right. So what about then those years between, say, 90 and 95? I mean, what were you doing there? Was there any sort of a master plan at all? And, like, did it just all come together that day in New York, which we'll talk about in a minute? Or was it just, let's see what happens, another band trying to make it? Or did you have something saying, we knew we were going to make it?
Well, we had, I mean, we were focused on getting an international record deal. You know, I mean, we didn't do the usual thing as in going out and playing an awful lot of gigs around Ireland. I mean, we did a little small tour at one stage, but really we worked on writing and recording and building up a backlog of music so that we could deal eventually. So there was between ourselves and our manager.
I mean, like, for instance, if you take the album, and there's plenty of go-ahead, good-sounding radio.
Well, all the things.
Yeah, it's basically, the Corrs is basically a mixture of music that we like and we like to play. The music that we like is traditional, we like pop and we like rock. We've also been influenced classically as well, so sometimes you'll hear hints of that, but it's really a mesh of the type of music we like to hear.
Well, I get the impression then that, like, I mean, some of the stuff that your parents would have liked is music that has a great pop sensibility. I mean, Carpenters or Simon & Garfunkel or whoever else you've mentioned there. So did you get any of that and realise that, like, the best music around is music that has a great something to it, be it a you know, a feel to it or a good pop sensibility to it or whatever? Or did you ever want to do something like completely different or a bit sort of, I don't know, more experimental or something, if you like?
Well, I think, you know, experimental can be seen as different things, you know, like just because some band is, you know, really alternative and uses really different instruments, it doesn't mean that other bands don't just experiment as much. They may just experiment vocally more, or with vocal textures more, or with their own instruments, but they may not just be using off-the-wall stuff, you know what I mean? Yeah. But I think basically we all had a love of melody. You know, the type of music, when you listen to it and you get shivers down your spine and you know you love that. So that's obviously what we wanted to pursue, something that we could get shivers to listening to, and hopefully the people then that would like our music would get the same.
Right, yeah. Okay, well then, what happens, just say that, like, the 4 Corrs are together, and this thing, Alan Parker comes into Dublin to make a movie called The Commitments. Where do you fit into that? What happened there exactly?
Well, I had actually met John Hughes, our manager, who's looking around the background somewhere there.
In the background,
Where is he? Johnny, come out here, we get you on camera. Come out here. Run in after him and get him on camera. Just before we got the band together, I had a little 8-track studio, which I was operating out of a little flat in Dublin. And myself and John met through a mutual friend, and I started recording him. And we got on very, very well. And it was, he told me that this audition was about to come up for The Commitments, which Alan Parker was directing, and Alan Parker is my favourite director in the world. I love what he does. And so I suggested then that we get the four of us actually audition and for this. So we went home, we rehearsed 2 songs. One of them was Knockin' Wood, the other one was a Quincy Jones number called Don't Go For That. And we went up and we performed live on stage in front of about 6 people, and it was the first time we performed together.
We'd never done it before.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we'd never.
Well, wait a minute, if you performed a song like Knock on Wood, I mean, he was looking for a soul band kind of thing.
Yeah,
Well, was it?
that's why we did Knockin' Wood.
And we really, like, it's basically, you know, a chance in your arm here, you know.
Right, yeah.
So, you know, we knew we could do it, so we did it.
And so when you did perform in front of the 6 people, what did Alan Parker say at the end of that? Thanks, but no thanks, was it?
No, we all got like parts in it eventually,
Yeah.
but they're all like myself, Sharon, and Caroline got sort of blink and you'll miss it parts, whereas Andrea got a more substantial part playing the sister of Jimmy Rabbit, the manager.
But that was completely different than what you had sort of gone for in the first place. You auditioned to be part of a musical band, and then you became the sister of somebody who, you know, there was nothing to do with music.
But actually, no, the thing was, you know, they were just open auditions, and you auditioned as a band, but you didn't specifically think, I'm going to go up there and be in a band in the movie.
Yeah.
You just wanted anything you could get out of it. That was, I don't think we went and thought, we're going to be the Corrs in a scene in the movie. That wasn't the idea. It was like one of us could get in here or there, you know.
Yeah. So then, I mean, what happened then? I mean, like, you got your little scene in the movie and you realised we still want to be the Corrs and do our own music. And we've now played live, so let's do it.
No, it was actually at that point that we unanimously, between us and John, decided that we wanted John to manage us and John wanted to manage us. So we got together, and it was then that we started writing and recording.
Yeah, and luckily enough, through Beacon Communications, which financed the film The Commitments, we got a publishing deal in conjunction with Polygram. So that gave us the money so that we wouldn't have to go off and get, you know, real steady jobs to live. So it gave us money to buy equipment and keep ourselves going so we could write music. So that seemed, at the time, like nothing was happening, but it was a really major deal because that's why we've got so much material behind us.
All right, so in other words, they gave you the wherewithal, if you like, to be independent and to follow the dream.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny when you look at the film, The Commitment, you expect, oh, you want to get a role in it, but we got a publishing deal out of it.
We formed, we met our
You
manager.
basically did better than anybody else, is what you're saying. It's true.
That's really every situation we go into, what we're looking for, we probably get something else out of
Yes,
it.
right.
So, like, that's why we take every opportunity that comes to us. No matter how small it is, we just do it and
Right.
just see what happens.